Cool. All right, so this is another release for today. This is the PodMic USB. So the PodMic is one of the most popular microphones in the world for podcasting, and we get a lot of requests for a USB model. So we wanted to maintain all of the functionality of the PodMic. So you've got an XLR output that we have running into the RØDECaster Pro here, but you can also host it on USB. So the idea with this is that it gives you essentially most of the elements of a RØDECaster Pro channel in terms of digital signal processing on board. You can use either Rode Central to control the onboard DSP or Rode Connect to be able to connect multiple different devices onto your setup on your Mac or your PC. Now, what you can actually do as well with the PodMic USB that's really cool is connect it straight into your iPhone like we're doing right now, because it's MFI compatible. So for solo content creators or for podcasters who will have remote guests and they want the remote guests to sound just as good as they do in the studio, the PodMic USB is perfect. You can send out a PodMic USB to one of your guests ahead of time and they can record and sound just like you do when you're running a RØDECaster rig or another PodMic USB of your own. So amazing podcasting and content creation microphone, XLR, USB, and MFI. Away we go. And $199. Yep, so starting with the Streamer X. So this is the first high-end capture card, audio interface, and kind of mixer action sound trigger device pretty much ever. So you've got a 4K capture card internal. You can do 4K 30 capture, 4K 60 pass-through. Now, whether that's for capturing a nice camera. I've got a GH5 running here straight into a MacBook running OBS Studio. So if I was live streaming and just wanted to pick up a much nicer video feed, I could do that very easily. You have the ability to connect a microphone with the combo jack input, and I think I have another one sitting back here that I can show you. So on the back of the unit, you've got a combo jack, which you can run mic or instrument into. You've got a headphone with a quarter-inch jack. You've got a 3.5mm jack with a TRRS for a headset. So if you want to get a headset like this, plug it straight in, then you've got audio both ways from your headset mic. Any gaming headset will work. And you can also connect any of the current Rode wireless systems directly to it as well. So this Mac has just gone to sleep, but you can connect mic, headset, or wireless just by tapping through the button here. And then your Wireless Go 2 or your Wireless ME can pair directly to it. So if you're doing content creation, maybe a standoff rig where you might be doing something like a cooking show or something like that, or even a sit-down, kind of piece of content, you can be much further away from the computer while you do that and set up a frame and still stream live.
So do you still use the receiver when you pair it, or does the
so you can use
talk directly?
The transmitter will talk directly to it. So this has a wireless receiver internal, which is a really nice little feature to be able to just create content without having to worry about connecting other kit. The mixer actions and sound effects and even voice effects can all be triggered on the smart pads. So you've got pages and pages of smart pads. You configure them in Rode Central. By default, we've got things like air horn sounds and pitch shifting and things you might use for a gaming setup. But you can also customize that and load whatever you like. You could set it up as MIDI triggers to start and stop OBS if you want as well for live streaming and all those kind of applications. And the other things that you have here is simply your on-off, kind of mute buttons for mic and for video. So if you want to use it for a Zoom or a Teams call and be able to just kill your video and kill your microphone and know for sure that you're offline or online, you can do that really simply using the button here.
Does it still output a video signal when you mute the video?
It'll output a video signal that'll either be just a custom bit of text that you assign or just a mute symbol for the video.
Okay.
So
can you do like a custom image or anything like
you
that?
You can't do a colored image, but you can have any kind of text solution. So you might just have your name there, or maybe a graphic in a monocolor kind of thing. So next we have the RØDECaster Duo. Yeah, sure.
Do you know how much gain is on that preamp? Because I know some mics are very gain hungry.
So this has the Rode Revolution Pre. You have negative 131.5 dBV self-noise, EIN, which is about a dB off the theoretical quietest pre you can make, and you have 76 dB of gain on top of that. So this is one of the best preamps that you'll find on any piece of kit. You could go spend couple of $1,000 on a nice audio interface, and you won't get better pre's than this, guaranteed.
Any AFX?
You have full AFX processing ability on all of the channels. So when you run Rode Connect, Rode Central on your Mac, you can basically set up a custom profile just like you would with a RØDECaster Pro. So you can set, AFX, aural exciter, big bottom, compression, gating, all that kind of stuff.
And can you plug in USB mics into that as well?
You can't plug USB mics directly in. It doesn't host USB, but it will connect to separate computers. So you can run your main computer, which will have your video feed and your audio from HDMI and your multi-channel here. You can also connect a second computer for additional audio. But you can't host microphones on here, and to be honest, it wouldn't necessarily add to your workflow. All you do if you wanted to run a USB mic separate is select it as your audio input on OBS or Teams or whatever else you're running.
So what's the use case again for connecting to two different computers? Like,
so,
why would you want to do that?
Typically, you might have a setup where you want to be able to stream on a separate computer to where you're gaming. So if you want to just be able to bring in your game audio separately, maybe it's not coming over HDMI, maybe you're running it as a live stream setup, you can have a separate computer, or you can have a second additional input on the same computer. So either you want to have separate gaming and streaming rig, or you want to bring in a caller if you're doing it as a solo, kind of content thing, or maybe you're podcasting or something. You can actually hook it up and run a mix minus on that channel, so that somebody can call in over Zoom or Teams or something and add that into your content as well. So it gives you a bunch of other options, and you don't have to host that on a separate computer. You can host that on the same computer again. So you can have an additional audio interface on the same computer.
And I noticed a quarter 20 on the bottom of this for mounting.
Yeah, so you can actually mount that straight onto a little tripod, onto a desk mount, anything like that. Basically with the RØDECaster Pro 2, the RØDECaster Duo, the Streamer X, we're really thinking about the rigs that people want to set up, and desk real estate, we understand, is really prized real estate on any creator's agenda. So we want to keep things off the desk whenever you can. Have workflows where you might have a RØDECaster Duo sitting on an arm, up out of the way, or a Streamer X, for instance, and you can definitely do that.
Okay. And so now the RØDECaster Duo, that is audio only, it's not video, right?
No, so the RØDECaster Duo is audio only. So for those that are familiar with the RØDECaster Pro 2, the RØDECaster Duo is a more compact version of that device. So RØDECaster Pro 2 versus RØDECaster Duo, basically RØDECaster Pro 2 has 4 combo inputs with the Revolution Pre. RØDECaster Duo, as the name suggests, has 2, and 2 headphone outputs. You've got less faders, so you've got 4 instead of 6, but they're totally assignable. So I can go into any of these faders and I can say, okay, I want this to be my headset input, reassign it, and now that's my headset. I can go into channel 1, and basically dive through, and I can create a new mixer in seconds. So you can see just there, from where we started, this is a whole new mixer. Now I have mic 1, mic 2, and a cool new feature with the RØDECaster Duo, headset. So I can actually plug a 3.5 TRRS headset, so a gaming headset or a broadcast headset can go straight into the unit, and you can bring the microphone in as well as the audio out. So in terms of feature set on this, you've got the ability, just like a RØDECaster Pro 2, to have multiple computers hosted as well. So you can have your main capturing multi-track into your audio workstation software. You've got a chat interface as well, so you can hook up a Zoom call without any echo. You also have a secondary USB that you can plug into either the same computer or a totally separate computer to bring in audio, maybe from a game or something like that, onto this unit. You have the ability to connect Bluetooth devices, mic line or instrument sources, and then on the smart pads here, you've got the ability to set up everything from sound beds, so we might have a music bed to start off a podcast or a show, all the way through to voice effects, so I might do a megaphone effect, a voice disguise, things like that. Essentially the RØDECaster Duo is just as powerful as the RØDECaster Pro 2, but in a more compact form factor. Another really cool thing that we've launched with the RØDECaster Duo is the ability to host wireless microphones directly without the need for a receiver. So if I go into my channel 2 here, I can simply go over and say that I want this to be a wireless channel, and now I can pair my wireless system directly with it. And you can see in seconds there, this wireless system is now on the screen on the RØDECaster Duo. and there's no receiver plugged in whatsoever. So it's just TX straight to the unit. It has 2 channels of wireless receiver on board. Now, another thing that's really cool about that is we've just unlocked that same functionality on RØDECaster Pro 2. So every RØDECaster Pro 2 ever shipped actually has a dual channel wireless receiver on board that we've just unlocked with the announcement of the firmware update. So if you jump on our website, you can download the firmware, and then you have wireless connectivity as well as all the other great features on your RØDECaster Pro 2.
That's great. I noticed there's an Ethernet port in the back.
There is, yeah.
What does that do?
Okay, so there's a couple of different things. So we do over-the-air updates for the RØDECaster series. So you can either connect over Ethernet or over Wi-Fi, and essentially what that enables you to do is directly in the background download firmware updates as they ship, and be able to load that up directly on the unit itself. It's a completely self-contained unit.
Okay. Is there any other use for the Ethernet besides updates?
There's a lot of work happening on the future development roadmap. So with the RØDECaster Pro 2, if you're familiar, with how many updates we've had with that, we're always adding new features, and of course. With the Ethernet, it opens a lot of possibilities for audio and control and whatnot. And we don't like to necessarily reveal features before they're actually ready, because we don't want to get anyone's hopes up of a particular feature at a particular time. But of course, we're looking at the future roadmap on that, and there will be additional functionality with the Ethernet.
Great. And it still records internally to a memory card?
Yep. So you got micro SD. Now, because we wanted something much more compact, you just simply use the screen. So whereas the RØDECaster Pro 2, you've got a button on the side, this one you just tap the record button on the screen. I don't have a micro SD in that right now, but essentially it gives you the same functionality. You can also record to a solid state drive or a USB drive. So if you just plug it into one of the spare USB channels, then you can record straight to that as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great update.
Cool.
Thanks for all the info.
Hey, thank you. Cheers.